Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Brad Tragick Show. And for people who don't know what that is, probably a lot of people don't because I used to do it a long time ago. I had this idea, I wanted to do it. Um, I actually had a show that I streamed on Spreaker, and something that might come back in the future is me going back to Spreaker because I did have people on Spreaker, so I may have to go and do kind of like a short Spreaker thing, just to let people know because I think I did have a few followers on the Spreaker over there. Um, but I kind of tended to get away from it. So basically, what was going on was I would do some like different kind of news segments and things like that on there. But basically, what is this? Me going live and rambling and talking and just shooting the crap, One thing I do want to mention at the beginning of this video before I wipe spit off the monitor. Anyway, um, behind me, I've been looking at backdrops, and I think that that may be a good way that I may purchase. I kind of want to buy a light box too as well to start selling on Etsy, and you'll start seeing more of that kind of stuff on the channel too because I'll probably start talking about reselling here soon. I'm just kind of starting to clean up my Amazon thing and see what's going on there. Any of you guys that do not know, I sell on Amazon. I kind of used to. I haven't sent anything in for a long time. Um, but recently, it's just not worth the money. I took down my monthly subscription for Pro, and it just wasn't worth it. But if things start happening on Etsy and I start getting sales, once I start that, I think that I may change. I may go back to Amazon, but I think I'm going to stay for the most part. See how it goes, but I think I'm going to start kind of differently. But I think I'm going to I'm trying to dwindle down my things. I still have nearly 200 items at Amazon, which is annoying because they charge you like long, they charge you a fee for how long it's been in the warehouse. And some of the stuff is like very, very long tail items, which means it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. Anyway, it's not going to sell until the right seller comes around that likes it. And that could take a while. So that's basically what long tail means in the term of reselling. I had a lot of stuff that just took a while, and a lot of the VHS I had them shipped to Cinema Sickness, and that's what I did. So when I did that, I kind of just gave up on the VHS, but I do think that there is some more audio and some like that. So I may package that up and send more to him. But I think I got for the most part everything. I'm going to look through and see if there's anything media related that I could send to him. Even to help out with the store, because he has a store now and it's helping him. He went full time on YouTube, which I would love to do at some point in time, but I do think that I need to set things up in place. And it's just like any other YouTube. You got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in. Followers, you can step away from your day job. I would love to do that. Um, I work a very, very labor intensive job, but I can handle it. I'm a hardworking guy. And that's where we're going to go with today's topic. I wanted to talk about this. It's probably a very touchy subject with some people out there because a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" But I see this a lot, and I've seen this with past jobs, and it's the work ethic of some people in the past couple of generations that came out of high school. You see, I graduated in 2000, so I've seen 2010's generation come out, and I'm starting to see the next generation come out as well. And it's kind of a different kind of a vibe with people coming out of college because a lot of them, especially in my area, there is a factory job kind of esque outline here. So a lot of people think that they can just, not go to college and they can just come and work at the factories and make a lot of money and they'll be great at life. That's not how it is. And if that's in any place that is like that, where there's an industrial park and, unless they're paying you like $15 an hour is actually not bad. You can live on $15 an hour. It's not bad. But if you're going to start a family, just think that if you don't make $15, $20 an hour, you're probably going to struggle a little bit because it's the way society is. And that's basically, the minimum wage is probably going to go up very, very high soon if things don't change. And I think that Trump is, whatever people want to say about Donald Trump, he understands the economy. He understands money. He understands that, and you got to realize that. And he's helping, I think, the country kind of get back on the track in terms of that way. So whether you hate him or like him, I think once he's done with his presidency and he steps away from office, people are going to look back and say he really did help the economy. He really did help some things. In other aspects, maybe not so much, which is probably going to hurt the country a little bit. But I think that as long as he gets people in place to take care of those problems, that he's not really, he just tries to become kind of a different person when dealing with those and kind of letting someone else maybe come along with him. And they kind of help him to say what not to say and everything. I think the economy will be a little better. But getting back to the original topic, the work ethic of some people coming out of college or coming out of high school is probably, I mean, I don't know what the percentage of it is, but I know there's some people coming out of high school that, just think, oh, I don't want to go to college. That's not my deal. And then it wasn't my deal either, really. I kind of wish I could go back and do it. And yes, I know, yes, I can do it, but past my prime. I can't do it. I have attention span problems now, and I could never do it. Well, that doesn't say that I can't start my own business. That doesn't say I can't do things that people would normally say that you would need a degree to do. And that's something also that's changed since society has kind of went into a social media kind of thing, and videos are online. YouTube happened, other sites happened. Roku. There's so many other options now that you can make money and actually make it big, and for you to do that. And the funny thing about it is, with these people coming out of high school, sometimes they just don't want to work hard because they've never had to. And here's the thing too about this as well. And I think that this could be part of it, but it's really the last generation didn't really have that. So this newer generation, some of them got the opportunity to work on laptops, and they didn't have to use paper and pencil or pen, whatever. So they didn't even have to hurt their arm when they're in school writing, because when I was in school, that's what we did. And the generation after me, 10 years after me, they had to do that too as well. So they somewhat understand. But some of these people now, now they don't have to use paper and pencil for the most part. They have to do somewhat to learn writing somewhat, because they were going to actually take that out of school, and I don't know why you would do that. You got to at least learn how to write. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Wasn't that the basis for school, I thought? Anyways, because technology couldn't be around forever. Maybe something happens and technology gets shut down. Maybe if bad people start taking over the internet and stuff like that. Who knows? The internet could go away dramatically, very, very quick. But in terms of some people just not having the work ethic when they get out of school and they go to a job, and you're told to move faster and go faster and stuff like that, and you just can't do it. And it's like, I don't understand that. I really don't understand it, because I think even when I started and I worked certain places, I still worked very, very hard. And maybe I did have trouble with my speed at first, but after you're there for a while, you know what's expected of you, and you have to move fast. And I think it's just the fact that they don't understand, and they think that whoever they work for should pay them no matter what. And that's not the case. You are an asset to the company. If you show up and you don't want to participate in helping their business grow, they are going to let you go. You are just like a product on the shelf. They can replace you. And some people may think that they're going to have trouble replacing because maybe certain jobs, people just don't want to work at those certain jobs. That is true. That want to work at those jobs, and they won't let them work at those jobs for whatever reason. Now, I understand for like felony and stuff like that, that'd be fine. But there are other people that do want to work there, and they won't let work there because of certain reasons. Either one, they worked there before, they changed their life around, they want to come back. Sometimes they won't give them a second chance. Other reasons is because they, maybe they had a scuffle with the law, but it wasn't nothing major. They, or maybe it was, but now they won't let them come back. Now, the reason I understand, if you stole something, if you killed somebody, or, You know, if something happened where it was more of a felony, I understand that. If you stole something, they probably aren't going to hire you at any kind of store or, you know, place of work. And even in factories, I've been to factories before. And let me tell you this, I am not a factory guy. I talked about this. I told my people that I work with that I'm not a factory person. I cannot work at a factory because one, it's mundane. It's very, very tedious tasks. And I can deal with tedious. Okay. I sit here and I make notes on the computer and stuff for the YouTube channel and things like that. And I've sat here and played dumb games I've created when I was younger. I can handle tedious stuff, but when it's stuff that they want you to be tedious and then also fast, I can't do that. That's the part that kind of switches because you want me to inspect a piece of metal and then you want me to do it at a fast pace. And then also some of these factories will give you a machine to work with that's not fast in the first place and tell you have to be fast. That is just dumb right there. And that's, anyway, but that's the thing about working in factories. You get what you get. And sometimes you have to go from job to job to job to job because some people, they just don't hire you full time to work with the company. So you have to continue to jump around until one place finally hires you on and pays you a decent amount of money, sometimes not even $15 an hour. So that is, I mean, most factories, if you get hired on, you get paid more or around $15. But some factories won't even pay you that. They pay you lower than $15, which that's not even worth the time or the money for your time to go there. Anyways, so some people at these factories that I worked at, they can't even handle working at a factory. I tell you, if you can't handle working at a tedious factory, and then you can't even handle working at a retail or a food establishment, you need to go back to college or find something that you're good at and do something. You know, that's just it's just not going to work. And you got to find something that you're good at. You know, if you can't handle it, you got to start doing something with your life. You know, figure out what you want to do. If your life ain't working for you, you can figure out something. You know, and I know some people, you know, sometimes they go to the dark place and they talk about, you know, ending their life. And that's not how you should deal with your problems. You got to figure out some way, or just, you know, get over the fact that you have to move faster, and you got to deal with that. Or, you know, just find a job that you want to do. You know, I'm going to be kind of a Debbie Downer on this because I busted my butt for Amazon.com. I did everything in the power. And what makes me so scared to try and go for another supervisor position, of everything that I put into Amazon.com, when I went there and I started working, I loved it. I never thought I would probably step into a supervisor role. I didn't think I would ever have a shot. And then I worked there for about 2 or 3 years, and I started writing with a couple of friends that lived in Indiana, and they were problem solvers, and they were basically fixing problems that happened on the line. And I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to learn that. And well, I think it was like a year and a half. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to learn that. So I learned that tool. I was able to, I finally, you know, the manager just agreed, hey, yeah, let Brad learn how to be a problem solver. Or I was somewhat slow at the job, but because it was things that they were changing, though, within the company, for the receiving part. And Amazon is so notorious for that. They change things in their receiving and basically in their warehouses like constantly, but it's to make things better. But for the problem solvers, it wasn't really making that part of the job better, but it had to make the problem solvers better. So I was kind of at the tail end of that, and it started to change stuff. And then there was a supervisor position open um, for to be a PA, and it was a kind of like a person below the manager, or there was like, yeah, there was like 2 or 3 people that would be below the manager that would kind of be kind of like the second in command kind of thing, and where kind of just go around and check, make sure everybody's working, if they have any questions, um, make sure everything's going on, you know, be the person that tells people where they go when they come in, and also to kind of just direct people if they need to switch things up at the moment. That was the job that I applied for. So what happened was I put in for that spot, okay, and then they started working 7 days a week at Amazon. So I worked 7 days a week, and I did it. I said, okay, yeah, I'll come in on the weekends. I'll get the extra hours to start this shift because we had new people, and then we had like I think like 10 people or so, a little bit less than 10 people, people that knew the job. They knew the job. They were going to come there and they were guaranteed to be working. But then we also had a whole slew of new people that started like in the middle of the week that were going to be working during the weekend, and they would start that shift. That would be like from Wednesday to Sunday. Yeah, Wednesday through Sunday. That would be that shift. So they would start that shift, and they would be with me as well. But I had to train them on top of watching other shifts. So in doing this, I think the first day, I don't know if I had anybody the first day. Well, I think it was a learning experience the first day. But then I had another girl that came along that they said, okay, she said, I'm here to help you out. Okay, I'm going to be your problem solver. I'm going to be helping you do this. Okay, cool, awesome, great. So it turns out after this little temporary period of me doing this, which I think was for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks of doing this, they announced the position. Before this position was announced, I seen one of the PAs walking around with the girl that was with me on the weekends, walking around, doing stuff, walking around. Lo and behold, the person that was right beside me on the weekends took the spot away from me. I was basically lead on the weekends. I was the person, because I've been there longer than anybody on that weekend little crew. I was basically the one that could say, do, watching people, stuff like that. I was somewhat a PA. They didn't give me the job. Didn't tell me why. Didn't tell me anything. I just didn't get the job. And I was irritated because that chick got it. I didn't. So I basically just didn't want to do anything. I was mad. I was irritated. I was ticked off like for the next 2 weeks after that. Then found out there was a spot that was called ISS rep, which is inventory. I don't know. Something about inventory control, basically, is where you check the units in the warehouse. They have boxes on the shelves and they have racks of stuff that you checked. There's also a few single stuff that you would check over somewhere. Where is that? Things that got damaged. You'd have to go check that. But anyway, we just quality control. Things would drop and you would check. You go out and check. And what happened was one of the people quit, like kind of like had to leave or took a promotion like very, very quickly. They're like, boom, gone. They disappeared. And so they needed someone to step in as kind of like a temporary thing, but you weren't getting the pay at the time. So I said, yeah, cool. As I was back there, I learned that that position was open. And she said, yeah, you should apply for it. Didn't think I was going to get the job because of what happened before. So I was like, whatever, I'll apply for it, whatever. Well, and behold, I got it. I got the position. I was happy. It's a pretty good job. Things were happening internally, though. And this is where kind of my leadership mind came into be my worst nightmare, is because I busted my butt. I came in, I showed up, I worked. And this is the first time I really talked in detail about this, but hopefully if people watch this, you get to understand why I am the way I am today. I busted my butt. When I get serious about a job, I get serious about a job. And I want to improve it to the point to where, why are we still doing this? That's hindering our job ability. And Amazon just didn't care. They just didn't care. Like the people above us did not care. They just ignored us and blah, blah, blah. And it seems like every time I would have a problem, I would address. 2 months later, it would be fixed by another person's hand on day shift. And it was very, very annoying. It was very irritating. And it just seemed like my role there was not important. And I was kind of not happy, but in the same place, I was getting paid a good amount of money. I was allowed to sit down. I was allowed to be on a computer. And at times, I was just messing around. I wasn't doing anything. but that's part of my job. I had to wait for tickets to drop. There really wasn't nothing for me to do. Even if I asked, hey, can I do something over there, since I'm not really doing it over there, they would basically say no, because I had to wait for tickets to drop and just deal with stuff over there. So there were things I would find to do that was just basically worthless. And, I'd probably talk to my wife half the time when I was working there. So it was an easy job, simple job, but something, it just wasn't fulfilling me, because like I said, when I get put into a job, I really, really want to focus on them. So something happened and I get called to the office. Wait, did I get called in? No, 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 no. So what happens was, we went to lunch one day, and there was a thing in the middle of the table, and it said, looking for people to, if you feel like transferring, you could transfer to these places and you could get a bonus, a big chunk of money, like 10 grand, to go to these new facilities that Amazon was creating. Doesn't that sound awesome? Doesn't that sound awesome to you? Hey, if you would transfer and uproot, and I mean, if you didn't have a family, whatever, even if you did have a family, move all the way down to these cities, Arizona, Southern Indiana, what was the other one? Arizona, Tennessee, and I think there's like North Carolina was another one, or West Virginia, one of those two. Anyway, those all four places were, those four choices were my choices that I could go to. So I put in for that. And a lot of people were shocked that I put in for that, because they're like, you really going to just uproot and leave? I'm like, yeah, I don't really have anything around here. And at the time, we would ask our family for help, any help. We wouldn't get anything. They were getting irritated with us, I think, because at times we were, I don't know what to say, like we were having problems adjusting with a child and things like that. He was very young at the time. So we ended up just to Tennessee, started down there. It was very, very culture shock a little bit, the change and everything. But once we got adjusted down there, we kind of liked it. But it was kind of rough, because we got into a bad situation with a bad landlord at first, and we lived there for, a year and a half. And then we were going to, right before things started getting a little bad, we moved to an apartment building. And then almost as soon as we got in this apartment complex, like 2 or 3 months later, stuff started to hit the fan at work. So when I came down there, when I came into this warehouse, I didn't know how the warehouse worked. They weren't going to tell me anything. But I knew the job. I knew what we had to do. Tickets drop, you deal with the tickets. There were some things that would drop, and I would have no clue how to deal with them. And I was one of the ones on that shift. They stuck me with a completely new person that just got hired in directly, and stuck them right beside me. And they thought she had what it took to be. I think she worked at a bank or something. I don't know why they think that made her like, oh yeah, you can work over here. But anyways, they put her right next to me. And we're the only ones on that shift that knew how to do that job. There was people below us, or there's people that on the other shift, on day shift, that both of them knew the job very well. They were good at what they did. I think they both came from the same facility that transferred in. So why they didn't put me on one of those shifts, I have no idea. Probably because I wanted to be on that shift, on night shift, because I was used to. I don't want to go day shift. I would probably get. I don't last very long on day shift jobs. I just don't do it. Just can't do it. Anyways, job went very, very kind of okay at first, but the problem is that every time we had these issues that would come up, and I couldn't figure out the answer, I would try an email to people on day shift. That was one of my problems. I emailed constantly, constantly, constantly to ask questions, and they wouldn't give me any answers. And then sometimes they would say, well, why don't you come in a little bit early and talk to them, get the questions? And I would, but they would be busy doing something else. They would be running around trying to do something else right before they left. I couldn't talk to them. So things would happen during work that I would have to email questions to them. And what happened was, basically they were ignoring us. They weren't answering us. Even when Karen, who was the person that worked with me, she would do the same thing as me. And she would, very nicely, and she would somewhat get more responses than me, but still she understood what I was talking about because they would not talk to us and communicate back and forth. So all throughout this whole entire thing, they treated like we were the bad guys in our job and everything like that. Karen left at some point during the juncture. She couldn't handle it no more. I think she took another job in the warehouse. I think, or maybe she quit. I think she just couldn't handle the job anymore because it was very, very stressful. It is stressful. But anyway, so another person came in, got the job. So what happened was this person was a little bit more confident in the job, and she got the job. But the problem was, who was the person? Yeah, anyways, was it the guy? I think it might have been. I think it might have been, I can't remember his name. Anyway, I think it might have been him. But anyway, what happened is that he helped me out very much to get things done around there and to understand the problems that were going on. And I think he understood where we're going, but I really hope that he is not the person that got me to where I was heading. And I didn't like where I was heading. But I didn't know the future at that point. So what happened is that the people on day shift started to fall apart. They left. Other people were put in their spots. Things started to happen. The breakdown really started to happen. They started talking to us about things that were very, very stupid and very, very minuscule, that were dumb things that they're yelling about. So management was stepping in and to put us back together. We got put back together. But then some of our people that we work with started to get a little bit, that we've been with us for a while, started to be, or at least for me for a while. Some of them have been there since the very beginning, and they started working in ISS over there in, Tennessee, and they started to get a little bit, can't touch me. You need me too much. That kind of attitude. So they would go off and they would waste a lot of time and they wouldn't come back, and they do a decent amount of tickets and they would do it, but were they doing them properly? And people started looking into it, and they were doing them decently. They weren't doing it as good as what they could. But the whole thing was they were wasting time. I supposedly was not managing them very well. Not jumping ahead, but let's take a step back. So about a month before, or about 2 or 3 months before they probably started seeing stuff like that, is that I was pulling a pallet jack of stuff, and I don't know how I did it. I still don't know how to do this day, and to this day, my back still kind of hurts from it. I kind of messed my back up. I kind of twisted the jack when I was turning it in, and I kind of moved in a weird way, I think, and my back just went, oh, and I felt like a weird thing in my back, and I put the pallet in the position, and I dropped it, and I backed up, and I was done. I was heading to lunch. I started walking to lunch. I think I may have walked over to the computer, and then it was lunchtime, so we went to lunch. As I was walking up, I was having trouble walking. I was like, oh, and I couldn't hardly walk. I was having problems. It may have been break time. It may have been the first break or last break. I can't remember. It may have been around the first break, I think. But that happened. My back got messed up. I actually went to see a doctor for it, and they basically said that under Tennessee law, yeah, you can do this and this and this, but they're not going to pay for it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this thing is getting worse and worse and worse living in Tennessee. So basically, at that point, I was done with it. I was irritated. I was like, okay, whatever. I have bills to pay. I have a family. I gotta go to a job. I gotta go to a job. I gotta do this. Whatever. All I do is stand at the computer. I can do it. Whatever. Let's do this. I don't have to run. I don't have to do anything like that. I have people for that. That's what I was doing at the time. So then this thing comes into play, and managers come and talk to me. They have a sit down with me, and they say, okay, Basically, this is what they say in a nutshell. You're on probation. We don't think you're managing your people right. We're going to put you through a probation period. If it doesn't work out, we're going to have you removed from your position. They said it in a nicer way, but that's basically what they said. I was livid. I was angry because the fact is they knew that I was hurting. They knew my back was jacked up and everything like that. And then on top of this, here comes in these new people. And we had, okay, back up a second. It wasn't the guy. I got a new person again to work with me. And she made it a point to say, why doesn't Brad run? Which is what we called it when we checked, whatever. Why doesn't Brad run? The reason Brad did not run is because when I started there, the guy that was in charge, his name's David, he told me that no, you're not going to have to run unless it's something like kind of a major ticket. But even then, you have people that'll run for you. Well, that crap got thrown out the damn window really quick when I started getting thrown under the bus. And especially when he got removed from that position. Everything changed. But hey, you know who they didn't come and tell what was changing? The ISS team. That's what they didn't come and tell. So now I'm getting thrown under the bus for everything and everything. I'm being forced to run. I have a hurt back. I'm in constant pain doing this. And I'm irritated beyond belief. And then, on top of this, I have to do all this stuff. And there's other things to do with this job that I had to do. And I had to do like forms at the end of the night. I had to do all this. And then in the middle of the day after lunch, they would have me come in on a weekly basis. And I would have to answer all these questions, everything like that I would have to have pre-filled out before I came in. But they wanted me to run tickets just like everybody else, just like my normal associates that had working under me. And they wanted me to have time to do that. And I would have to tell the people I was working with, okay, I can't run anymore. I have to fill this out before I go in. And a lot of times I would do it like every night throughout the night. Usually I'd pick a certain point of the night and I'd work on it. Probably at the end of the night for the most part. I'd just stop running like the last hour and work on that. And I would have problems because I didn't know what to put for some of the answers. Because it was very, very like leadership type questions. I would ask some of the people there because they kind of went through that before. Some of the same kind of stuff to kind of make them a leader, which didn't think I was doing that bad of a job. You know, sometimes I talked to the people in the wrong way and said things, maybe something a little bit wrong, but job. I mean, they respected me when I was there. I had respect from, you know, people that worked under me. They knew that I knew a lot of stuff. And let's just skip forward to the last session that I had with the management team. They pull me in and they immediately said, we don't think this is working, basically, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of jumping through the hoops. I didn't even fill anything out. I didn't have time. I knew this was going to happen. You guys didn't give me a chance to even do it. You guys kept changing the rules throughout the thing. I said, don't want to be on it. I said, you know, and then we started thinking about, where do you want to go? I gave them my ideas of where I wanted to go. They didn't take any of them. They didn't take any of them at all. I wanted, then they said, do you want to stow? Like, I can try, but I'm just afraid I'm not going to hit the rate. And that's what I was afraid of. You know what happened? I couldn't hit the rate. That's what my problem was. I told them that. They knew that. So they were basically trying to fire me. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of the higher paid people that work there because I was making $16 an hour there, and it was really kind of mind blowing. And I liked it. I liked the money. But so basically happened. So I hope I didn't bore you with all this, but that's the reason why I don't want to step into a supervisor position, because I bust my butt. I bust my ass for any company that I work for, and I do not hold back. I am very, very adamant. When I get into a job, I respect the hell out of the management team. I want to impress them. I want to do things. And I think that because of that, my just whole work ethic is super great. And I always work like I want to go to the next level, but because of the Amazon thing, I don't really want to anymore. Yeah, yeah, that's all I'm saying. So that's why a lot of things has happened because of that. Um, Trodden. Now, hold all this story to get to this point. I still work hard. I still bust my butt at what I do. But here's the thing: the money was the big driving point in doing that job, keeping that job. But there was also something that came up that they purchased Zappos at some point during my tenure there, and Zappos had a thing where they would pay off people if they weren't happy at their job. Well, they narrowed it down to 1 week where if you wanted to quit Amazon, you could take a payout. And well, just doesn't seem to be coincidence that 6.5 years after I started my job, which is the max payout for this thing at 5 years. This is the max payout. If you work 10 years, I don't even think it matters. Like 5 years is the max payout, whatever for it. You would get like around 5 grand to quit if you weren't happy. I went home that night after probably about a month of working on stow. That's what they call it, where you put objects or boxes up. It was just items, never mind. And I couldn't get it right. And somebody's calling me. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna grab the phone and come right back. Hope you guys can hear me. I'll hurry up real quick. All right. So, no telemarketer level. Anyways, so the big lump of sum. I went home, told my wife that night, I'm gonna quit my job. I want to. I'll find something else. So she gets talking with her mom and dad, and I think my stepmom and my dad. And basically, I was down in the dumps. I was done. I was thrown aside. I was depressed. I was super down. And at that point, I had told myself in my mind, I knew what I wanted to do. And I said, I want to go back. I want to get a simple job. I don't care what it is. I'll find something. But I'm tired of trying to bust my butt for a company, shove you right down. So I will talk high on Amazon for everything else. But becoming a supervisor there, it's not good. And even when I was leaving, the people working there, I don't know. I honestly don't know the future of Amazon.com, like how their workers and stuff like that, like how that's going to work. Because they constantly just move people around and constantly, they don't know how to treat people. So I don't know what the future of that company is in terms of hiring people and firing people, but it's just not a great atmosphere for somebody, just kind of getting into the workforce. And I wasted 6.5 of my damn years there for nothing. I got nothing. I think the experience I got was worth a little bit, just a little bit though. But the experience of going in there and trying to go for a leadership role before I truly knew what my job was. Well, I know it was a job where people were going to respect me. People were going to like me for what I do, know how to do. Things that jobs and stuff that I'd done before. And I went back to that job. People respect me. Whatever. Some people may never get to see this part of the video. So if they don't, it's great for me because I don't want to deal with that kind of problem. But thoughts running through my mind right now. What am I going to do next in my life? I'm going to continue to do YouTube. It's what I love to do. I love to record these videos, and if nobody watches them, I don't really care. I'm going to continue to do them. I like recording videos. I like drinking Surge. Hell yeah. Anyway, but that's kind of what happened with the whole thing. You know, I'd worked at McDonald's. I've worked at other places before. All the 3 big corporations I worked for came out. Walmart, McDonald's, Amazon. I've worked all 3 of them. And I currently work for one of them. So I don't know what to say. You know, it's like I tried my hand at almost getting to a point where I was a big deal and I could have went higher. But because of a misconception and because of people that probably wanted to shove me aside, I left. Here is the other thing. There were some things that people did not know how to do in that job at Amazon. And when they said, we're going to remove you from that job, you can stay there and work. No, I said, no, I want to be taken off immediately. I don't want to help you. You can figure it out for your damn self. That's what I kind of said. Might have cussed or said in a very hateful tone, no, I'm not going to do that job no more. You guys think I can't handle it. You guys can figure it out on your own. So I went back that night, and I'm pretty sure it was the last time that, because they did it on purpose to where it was the last time I would be working that spot. And when I came back the next night, they had me go directly to Stowe. And I got showed how to do it. So that's what happened. I'm back in Indiana now. Thank God there was a lot of morons in Tennessee. The bad news is I came back to Greensburg, Indiana, and there were so many more idiots here than when I left. So go Greensburg. Anyways, I graduated from Rushville. So Greensburg. So some of those idiots might be from my town. For the most part, I don't think so. There's nothing in Rushville. I couldn't move back to Rushville. Anyways, anyway, that's part of that. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be like this, but I kind of told my whole life story in this Brad Tragick Show. Drinking Surge show, without a doubt, awesome, awesome. And this won't always be what the Brad Tragick Show is all about. But like I said, I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I talked about the work ethic of people. It shot me right into my story about that. I don't know if I've told that story before in detail, super detail. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think I'm going to turn off live, record some videos, and I got my cool Joker shirt on. I like it. I like it a lot. Give me some more of it. Anyway, but hope you guys enjoyed the video, the live broadcast. Like I said, these things are going to just pop on randomly. You never know. So have those notifications turned on. And as always, guys, gals, keep rocking. I didn't get no viewers again this time. But you know what? It's I'll turn it on anyway and do stuff. Anyway, keep rocking and keep on watching live. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll hit the stop button now.